I think food is an enduring topic in photography because it followed painting. It's always been there. It kind of adopted all that legacy. And also, it doesn't move. So at the beginning of photography, it was a great subject because you could arrange it, you can organize it, you can control it. So I think it's just always been there. And as well as the symbolism, it's just to hand.
And to follow on that, I think food is one of those subjects that we're wired to look at genetically. It's something we can all relate to, and you feel something viscerally happens in your tastes and your senses, even just looking at a picture of it. So I think that keeps it an enduring subject as well.
There's 3 different sections in the exhibition. So the first section that you come into in the exhibition is still life, and that's the blue section that we're in at the moment. And still life is obviously crucial to how food is photographed, and it takes its cues from painting. There's a long history and legacy in painting, and the very early work, you can see copies that in a way, but also takes a very photographic approach to it. But as you go around the section, you'll be able to see there's a lot of abstraction in this section as well, and a great kind of contemporary example is Sharon Corr, who her work is kind of complex. Initially you see it and you think it's just a copy of a painting. She's thinking about where we see still life, and we still see still life painting from the internet mainly now. So she photographs pictures that have been on the internet. So it's photographs of painting. So it's about reproduction, and it's about how we consume images and fine art.
And the next section is around the table, and that's the yellow section, and it's actually split between the 2 floors. And this section is really about what happens when people gather around food. So it's specifically about culture and also about identity. So that could be a personal identity, it could be both cultural and also national identity. And so you have things like the Time Life Foods of the World series, which on the covers, they don't even have the names and which places they are. It's just one dish, and you know from that dish which country it is. And it also has people like, say, Stephen Shore. And so on a Stephen Shore picture, there's one of a McDonald's hamburger, and you know immediately that that's taken in America. Really close to that section, there are a number of cookbooks. So that's almost a section in its own right, and I think it plays off the idea of custom and identity really well and around the table, because these books, yes, they contain recipes, but for the most part, it's about a certain lifestyle, and that can be both what we aspire to and how we see ourselves.
And the final section is called Playing with Food, and that's red. And this section really deals with the senses. So we've got how food smells or feels or sounds, even with Carolee Schneemann video. And also that food can be ridiculous. It kind of falls into the food fight, it falls into the spoof. And it's a great icebreaker as well. If you spill your food, it's everyone kind of relaxes. So we wanted to get that kind of energy in that room and that feeling of excess in a way as well. It can kind of be disgusting and sexy at the same time. So we wanted that space to be a very evocative space. In terms of how we've curated the show, there are different themes that kind of thread through both floors. And one of them, which is always important, is feminism and femininity and how that is seen throughout the work. And I guess a great example of that are the cookbooklets. And what we see with those is a story being sold to women that this is a shortcut, this is a way to free your time, but also keep you in the kitchen at the same time. That idea of freedom and control we can see kind of flipped in the Cindy Sherman.
I think you get this kind of seesaw happening between the advertising and the artists throughout the exhibition.
Perhaps that people have an idea of what food photography is, and that might look a certain way, and it's very commercial, and it can be empty and formulaic and beautiful. And that's absolutely not what the show is doing. It's really widening out and thinking about how food functions in photography, not necessarily food photography.